Welcome to the Kelly and Erinn Show. We're so glad you're here.
We're a mother-daughter duo and founders of Kelly's Bake Shop. We built a nationally recognized brand, faced unimaginable challenges, and have chosen to rise again and again, all in the pursuit of a life aligned with truth, freedom, and love.
Each week, we're sharing real, unfiltered conversations about entrepreneurship, healing, and expanding through personal growth, and choosing joy, even when life gets tough.
This is your invitation to come home to yourself. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Kelly and Erinn Show. We're so happy that you're here with us today. I know I say that every single time, but seriously, we're so honored that you've taken time out of your busy day, chaotic day maybe, or maybe it's a super chill day. Maybe you're just like driving in your car listening to us. Maybe you're working out at the gym, taking your dog for a walk, something fun like that. But we're just so honored that you're here with us today. And today, we're talking about something that is just so important that, we're guilty of it. And I'm sure so many people are guilty of it too. And it's the concept of truly living in the present moment. And we're not going to keep things surface. We want to really dig deep as to why it is that so many people just choose to think of tomorrow and think of this idyllic time when they can actually start living instead of living their life right now intentionally on purpose. And you and I, Mom, we kind of got fired up today because we listened to a great video, really cool guy that we love to follow, Chris Williamson, and he was talking a lot about this. And I think it's just such an important thing to dive into. So let's get into it.
I'm excited because I catch myself and defaulting to sometimes a procrastination state, which is, I think, the majority of the collective consciousness out there, that we actually choose to default to the easy, to the mundane, to the regular, to the way that we've been habitually living our lives on autopilot. And that is not living a life. That is just coexisting with, your day in, day out freaking routine, but it's not creating any kind of growth or challenging you to become, an extraordinary version of yourself. And there's this strange feeling and this strange idea that one is not, like, a person's not living in their real life. Like, they actually can think, you know what, if I accomplish this, or if this person does this, or if my life looks like this, if I have a certain amount of money in my bank account, or if I, my kid is done university, or, these things, like these conditions, then at that point I can sell my house. Like, I actually have a couple people in my life right now that are close friends and are unwilling to just pull the ripcord, and they know they want to get out of where they're living. But the excuses are either their kids or, financially, or not having something squared away in this perfect box with a ribbon on it. It has to be absolute perfect before, I can put my house on the market. Well, what happens if you just put your house on the market, and because you know that you need to move, you know that you want to move, you know that you want to honor that deep calling that's inside of you, but you do that. Okay. So you actually put it on the market, and then you just allow the universe to go, wow, this is so awesome. Now, this person, they're actually honoring their truth. They're actually honoring their authentic path they want to be on. You know what? I'm going to give this, and this to them, because we have no idea how we are going to be supported. This, the divinity and God consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, that's out there that we co-create our life with, it has to be activated. It has to see that we want to make a change in our life. And if we're just living that same mundane, every single day is Groundhog Day, the same old thing, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, eating the same things, putting on the same clothes, I'll sell my house next week. I'll make that job change a month from now when my daughter is done from university. I'll make that change then. Like, all these conditions to not embrace change. And that is, to me, the truth of that matter is that they're terrified. They're terrified of the unknown. You're terrified of the unknown if you don't want to go and make that radical decision and not know how it's going to turn out. That's the exciting part, is not knowing how it's going to turn out. For me, anyways. I love that.
And I think like what you're saying right now is so accurate and it's so true for so many people. And you and I have done it in our own ways as well, that, you have this concept that one day life's duties will be out of the way and then you can actually start living your life. It's this concept of once I get this relationship, once I, have children, once I have $1 million in the bank account, once I have these RRSPs, once I find the perfect house and all of these things, then I'll be happy. Then I can actually start living my life. And we've said it in previous podcasts before, but life is this journey. You are constantly evolving. There is no final destination. And to add to what you said there, Mom, about, if someone puts their house on the market, the universe is going to support that. They're going to open up doors and windows and all these opportunities for them to be supported to their highest good. I mean, we are living proof of that. So many incredible opportunities have presented themselves to us when we have released the control and we have simply allowed life to unfold exactly the way it's meant to, without being rigid and trying to force things and, waiting for something to be a reality before you actually take a step in your life. And I think it's such a myth that so many of us can get caught up in. And it's just a great reflection point for myself, for you, and for all of our listeners right now. It's like, what are you really holding on to? What is this like vision of your life that's holding you back from actually living your life right now?
That's the thing. You're holding yourself back. There's a thing called a deferred happiness syndrome. So you're deferring your happiness and we're actually, you're frozen almost in anxiety. You're frozen in procrastination. You're frozen in that fear of just being accountable and maybe being wrong. So like there's all these multiple layers of reasons why you are not going to make that decision. And it's somehow like, your present life is somehow just a prelude to your idyllic future. So you're living in this, in it, and it's like all fake. This present life that you're in right now, it's a prelude to this idyllic future that you want. That idyllic future, you actually think that you're moving that way because, all these conditions are being met right now till you finally hit that beautiful idyllic future. But what if you just chose to make your idyllic future now, your present life, right? And living and manifesting in that present moment of everything that you want is here. It's just, actually, this is how I look at life now. It's like these timelines are floating all around me, all above me. And it's like whatever frequency I'm at right now, I'm going, oh, I'm grabbing that now. I'm grabbing that. I'm grabbing that now. Because there's nothing linear. Life is not linear. It's quantum. And when you know that there's another reality of you living that dream that you want, all you have to do is just change your frequency. Take the step towards it, and just knowing that divinity, the divine, you are going to be so beautifully supported to grab that. And that's what I've been doing now, is catching myself like reaching and grabbing for life, my present life, how I want to live.
That's honestly so huge. And that's, something that you and I have really leaned into. Learning through incredible guys like Joe Dispenza, even going to his retreat way back in 2019, and
Awesome.
really learning that there are infinite versions of Erinn right now, and there are infinite versions of Kelly right now, experiencing all different ways of life, different realities. And it's just a matter of tapping into that frequency that you want to attract in your life. And that's what you're going to get more of. If I'm stuck in saying, oh, poor me, nothing ever works out for me, oh, I'm just a victim, and just that low vibrational energy, you're going to be presented with things in your life that are going to match that vibration. But if I say to myself, everything always works out for me, I am so supported, I have an incredible relationship with my mom, I have an incredible marriage, we have an incredible thriving business that millions of people need across the country, that's what I'm going to get back into my life. And yeah, like it's just, we could go so deep on this concept, but I think for the purpose of this episode is getting back to the idea that so many people waste their life thinking of a future that doesn't exist right now in their present reality. And they are just like holding their current life hostage for this, idyllic, like you just said, Mom, this like perfect life that doesn't quite exist in this moment. It's wild.
No, because you got to ask yourself too, what is perfection?
Yes.
And then if we're unhappy with our current state
Mhm.
of affairs, if we're unhappy with our current life, we're doing things to mask it. Like, there's a social media addictions right now, right? And social media really is something that is this fake belonging. Like, we think that we belong to something, but all that we are is just these little digital avatars. And we get excited to like people's stories and reels and stuff like that, and wait to see how many we get and how many comments we get and stuff like that. And alcohol, it's a crutch, and that keeps us from any kind of clarity for our manifesting our ideal life. And alcohol is masked as, oh, you need to drink booze to celebrate, or you need to drink booze or alcohol to connect to one another. And it's all false. It's not what you require to do that. And porn is another addiction, right? And a lot of people go to that because it's masked as love. I get to go even deeper with my partner now that we have porn playing at the same time. All that to create like layers and layers and layers of it, that all these things that we are doing to actually disconnect us from who we are really meant to be. So I think that we are at this point in time of living here on this earthly realm, that when we understand frequency as being the thing that attracts whatever we need into our life, whatever our frequency, what our vibrations are, is what we are bringing into more so into our life. And those things that I mentioned, from porn to alcohol to social media and stuff, are very low vibrational, depending to what you're using social media for, right? You might just be popping on to go and make some money and then popping back off again. Those things happen. We're using it as marketing. But those are the things like porn and booze, and that kind of not aligned with your love of your heart, not connected to your true essence of who you are. Those things keep us very distracted and keep us from connecting even deeper in relationships.
Yep.
Those of you that are using porn, and those of you that are using booze, and those of you that are using those kind of false pretenses of there's going to be a grand awakening. I truly believe this. There's going to be this grand awakening of us to see us for who we really are, these very basic, beautiful souls. And we are moving through this existence to learn, to evolve, and to attract the life of our dreams that is there for us right now in this present moment.
Totally. And I think everything that you are talking about there, whether it's alcohol, drugs, porn, social media, all these things are all these like cheap dopamine hits, right? That in the moment make you feel good about your life and all that great stuff. But then when you get, taken out of it, it's like, then you're back to your reality. And then you're, chasing that reality that you want, that you think that you need, and not living in your present moment. And it's just this constant circle and this constant cycle of life that doesn't allow you to anchor into who you are in this moment and what reality you can actually create in the future. So there's like honestly so much that we can dig into this. I did want to like maybe ask a question to you, Mom, that we can give some more value to our listeners right now. So if a listener is listening to us right now, thank you for tuning in, and they wanted a simple habit to live their life more in the moment, what's something tangible that you think that you would really recommend, and why?
Gosh, there's so many things that I do now, from even having 432 hertz or 528 hertz constantly playing in my house. And I find that that actually helps to raise the frequency of my home. Like, I've created a vessel here that is a nurturing vessel. So when people walk in, they go, oh, wow, the frequency of this, like, what am I feeling, right? Like, they just know they feel different. And I love that. So I do that. And that's something that's free, right? I just play through my speakers, and I love it. I also do consciously eat a certain way with, beautiful, healthy, organic foods, and choosing not to poison myself with, you know, fast food stuff. I don't eat at restaurants that I don't know where they get their ingredients from. Like, I'm very consciously nourishing my body, because I believe too it nourishes my mind and my soul to become all that I have to be. Meditation, spending time alone. I've mentioned before too about going for the walks in the forests. And actually, when you do it alone, there's something so magical when when you're with someone else, it's fine and everything, but you're still distracted with talk, right? You're chatting back and forth, whatever. But when you are alone in the forest and doing your own forest bathing, I call it, and sitting maybe at the bottom of a tree and just putting your back against it, or literally wrapping your arms around it and and you close your eyes, guys, you are going to see like an LSD trip. It's so wild when you hang out with trees, and don't laugh at me until you try it. All right. Go out there, hug, and the bigger the tree, the better. And it's like all of because the root systems of trees go into the earth, and their roots go in with all the other trees. Like there is a massive neural network of roots around this whole earthly realm. Like it's fascinating. And to know too that the ground is what is a conductor of it all, as a conducting of frequencies, because that's what we are. We are grounding ourselves into the earth. The trees are grounding themselves into earth. And this is what, for me, allows me that space and that allowing the words from the cosmos. I know this sounds so weird and trippy to you guys, right? Because our mind is just an antenna. It's like our thoughts are not our original thoughts. They come from the collective. But I choose to have high frequency thoughts to come into me. So I have to prime myself to allow myself to be open to receive them. So my frequency has to be at the highest level possible to be able to get the higher frequency information to come into me. So I need to be that beautifully tuned antenna on so many levels of no alcohol, high frequency foods, high frequency thoughts, a high frequency home, and just allow myself that beautiful space to grow with co-creation, like of how I want to be, where I want to grow to, how I want my future life to be, my present life to be. It's by tapping into something that is greater than me. So I don't know if I answered your question. I went off into a wild tangent there, but it really is just setting myself up for being the best receiver possible.
I love that. You definitely answered it, and you went beyond, as you always do. So that was awesome.
I'm
I
sorry.
think that no, it was great. And I think that, being real and authentic as to like actually how you really live, I think is so beautiful, because you can say some fluff stuff here and there. This is how I stay in the present moment, but like actually getting into like the realness of who you are and what you do is so incredible. And that's what we need more of, for sure. And I think
You certainly
that
do.
was a beautiful way, I think, to wrap up this episode. And I'm just going to say it again, is don't wait. Live your life now. Reality is right now. There's not this idyllic future in the way past future that then you can start living your life. Live your life right now. This is the only moment that we truly have, and just get out there and start living. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Kelly and Erinn Show. If you like this episode, please leave us a review. It helps new podcasts like ours get up there in the rankings on Apple and Spotify and all that good stuff. And we will talk to you guys so soon.